Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston, and across from me is Mr. Charles Taxation is Theft Thompson. How's it going this morning, Mr. Chuck?
You asked me again.
I did. It's just in that I've been how many years have I asked you how it was going?
For years.
A lot of years.
Yeah. Today is it's a good day.
It's Friday.
Every day is a good day.
True.
For the most part.
Technically.
Yeah. I'm not saying tragedy doesn't befall the fellow man, because that certainly happens. And I've had my fair share of pessimistic days. But I'll say what I said the other day. You know, the more you can lean on optimism, the better, I think, for your overall health.
Yeah.
So every day should be a good day. I genuinely look forward to what I do. So that's always fun. I enjoy being busy, and
that makes one of us.
And I think it makes it more fun, at least for my own brain, to try to figure out like what's optimally present in this moment. And then I genuinely enjoy this podcast. So, and I'm extremely grateful. I want to make it known how grateful I am that Nathaniel Paul Thurston, probably the most libertarian person you'll ever meet, does almost all the work for the podcast. So I get to show up and be a part of the conversation. Yeah. And he keeps me up to date. He keeps me as well informed as he does all of you.
I appreciate you appreciating me doing that stuff. Yeah. It's the last time I ask you how it's going. So anyhow, this is Good Morning Liberty. We talk about life, liberty.
I'm not going to tell you to not ask me anymore. I'm just going to make the answer so difficult.
No, lesson learned.
You're like, yep.
Lesson learned. Never again. # never again. All right. So anyways, this is Good Morning Liberty. We talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaning every single day of the week. When we want to, hit follow, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a family member, and the children to listen to us. We got 1,611 episodes so far. This is number 1612. So technically, as you're listening to this, we have 1,612 episodes so far. And catch our nice weekend episodes. Typically, new guy Josh is on there. Also has a podcast called Martin's Minute. You can go check that out. He does interviews for us and always does really great interviews. So make sure you listen to that Sunday morning special that we put out almost every single week. All right, it's Friday, which means it's Dumb Bleep of the week, Charlie. It's everyone's favorite day of the week for Good Morning Liberty. And that means we have to go through a lot of dumb things that happen.
Yeah, we talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of dumb.
Dumb all the time. There's so much dumb happening. And today, I regret to inform you, we have 13. And I'm going to ask you.
Taylor Swift's favorite number.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to keep me honest, keep us honest, and make sure that they don't take very long.
All right.
All right. So when it's time to go,
it's time to go.
See, that is a great example of what I need you to do during the show. Number one, it's really going to be for Gavin Newsom, but the executive chairman of Bed Bath & Beyond, which still exists, by the way, technically still exists.
I thought there was no time.
Yeah. So anyhow, he put out he put out a not a political message, but he announced, we will not open or operate retail stores in California. This decision isn't about politics, it's about reality. California has created one of the most overregulated, expensive, and risky environments for business in America. It's a system that makes it harder to employ people, harder to keep doors open, and harder to deliver value to customers. The result, higher taxes, higher fees, higher wages that many businesses simply cannot sustain, and endless regulations that strangle growth. Even when the state announces budget surplus, it's built on the backs of ordinary citizens who are paying too much and businesses who are squeezed until they break. I like this guy. I don't know, this Marcus
Lemonis for president.
Or Lemonese.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is he running in 2028?
At Bed Bath & Beyond, our responsibility is to our customers and our shareholders. We will not participate.
Way too many products in one store.
Yes, a lot.
That's their responsibility.
Well, it's different now, by the way. They got bought by someone else.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. We will not participate in a system that undermines both. Instead, we are investing in a California strategy that works. 24 to 48-hour delivery. So what I imagine is that they're going to have people camped out in the safe neutral zone in Nevada close by, and they're going to make these jumps into California real quick and come back and just make your delivery and come back.
Oh, they'll tax that, by the way.
They will. They'll make it a big toll road or something like that.
It'll be a tariff, a California tariff on Nevada imports.
Californians will continue to get the products they love through BedBathAndBeyond.com, but without the inflated costs created by an unsustainable model. We're taking a stand because it's time for common sense. Businesses deserve the chance to succeed. Employees deserve jobs that last, and customers deserve fair prices. California's system delivers the opposite. That's why Bed Bath & Beyond will serve California customers directly through BedBathAndBeyond.com and our terms, on our terms, and with their best interests at heart. Now that's a pretty decent.
Bed Bath & Beyond's here. They closed down.
Yeah.
Even Bye Bye Baby, which was a derivative of Bed Bath & Beyond specifically for.
I didn't know that.
Those closed down as well.
Now I think that this is a pretty fairly well laid out announcement of why you can't do business in a state. It didn't really say anything that wasn't true. California does have a very strict regulatory environment. They have high minimum wages. They make it very difficult for businesses to do business.
Except for Panera.
Yes. Don't forget Panera. You can still get your low wages there at Panera, even though it's super expensive still. My God.
Yeah.
Have you been at Panera lately?
I have.
Good Lord.
I had a business meeting the other day there, and I was like $20 for a lunch.
My wife and I used to go there to save, like we wanted to go out to eat, but we didn't want to like tip anyone, and we didn't want to pay whatever the extra cost was, as much as going out to eat. And plus, they make you feel, weird with the tipping and everything now,
you might as well
nowadays.
Go to Jay's.
So yeah,
same cost.
It's not that different, honestly.
It's not.
Okay. Anyhow, I think it's pretty well laid out argument. All the things he said are true. So Gavin Newsom did have a response, and Gavin Newsom's been extra snippy these days. He's. Have you seen the whole thing with Newsom and his Trump style trolling? To be honest with you guys. Some people wanted it in Dumb Bleep of the Week. I actually think it's hilarious. Like, I think it's a good political strategy for him to do, maybe. And so I couldn't put it as dumb. Like, the things he's saying are dumb, but whatever.
Have similar hair. Is this, are you Nate Newsom Thurston?
Mine is still withholding its color for the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference. Mine's a little higher, too. Unfortunately, I tried to get it to lower down some, but it's just,
I'm just saying,
it's
very
really
similar.
got some bounce in it
and
today.
I've seen that look from you a few times. Not many people have, but I've said some dumb things around Nate, and he just looks at me like I'm an idiot. And then you understand what he means there.
Yeah. I think I did a pretty good job doing that face right there. Gavin Newsom responds, the company...
Did your mom hang out in California years ago?
Oh, God. Let's move on. The company that already... He says, the company that already went bankrupt and closed every store across the country 2 years ago. Okay. Now, I understand he's, making fun of them for going bankrupt. But what he doesn't know, as the governor of the state, is that Bed Bath & Beyond got bought by Overstock.com, and Overstock has decided that they basically bought the intellectual property to the name Bed Bath & Beyond, and now they are paying
the inventory.
And the inventory, and Overstock also has a whole bunch of their own inventory as well. They're reopening stores around the country right now, and so they made a legitimate announcement that they're not going to California because California sucks. And I just wanted to point out the fact that Gavin Newsom sucks, and so does California.
Yeah,
that's
also
really it.
Looks like somebody in the Fed Haters Club, I need to verify, but they said that Lamonis also runs Camping World.
Is that true?
Which has been a pretty successful business in that realm.
Okay. All right. No, we got that. All right, that's number one. We got to take the opportunity to give Gavin Newsom a dumb sometime. I mean, he might be the next president of the United States,
Do you know who Marcus Lemonis is?
Never heard of her.
He's the guy, he's the CEO of Camping World, yes, but he's also the guy who had that TV show. Gosh, I can't remember what it's called, but he went around and bought businesses and revamped them. He bought SJC drum kits.
He bought SJC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it called The Prophet? Was it called The Prophet on
CNBC? Probably
CNBC or something. I think it was called The Prophet. Somebody looked that up for me, but that's who Marcus Lemonis is. Yeah, that guy's a good business dude.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's called The Prophet.
Well, now we know that.
Great show.
I've never watched it.
So he's kind of like he reminds me similar of like a shark, like if you watch Shark Tank.
Yeah.
But he kind of does his own thing.
Or like Gordon Ramsay going around on Kitchen Nightmares, fixing places.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool show. I used to watch it all the time.
Okay, that's number one. Let's go to number two. We got 13. Let's see. The next one, this came from one of our ex-followers who goes by the name of Michael Scarn, star of Threat Level Midnight, which is a reference to The Office that Charlie won't get because he's lame like that. But anyhow, so this one's for you, Michael Scarn. This goes to Representative Pramila Jayapal. I don't know if that's how you say her name, but who cares? All right. She is upset. She says, in case you missed it, Kroger is closing a handful of Fred Meyer stores in the Seattle area. This is yet another example of corporations putting their shareholders and profits ahead of their workers and their customers. And in this right here, she says, closing stores will put people out of work and make it harder for families to put food on the table, all for the benefit of corporate shareholders, and even as CEOs take home millions in pay every single year. That is what Pramila Jayapal had to say about this getting closed. Now,
I think what these people, their expectation is that you create a business for the sole purpose of just employing people and never closing, despite what the numbers tell you.
Yeah.
That's like, you exist to serve other people. It should be a nonprofit.
That's what it should be. Yeah. Now, I'm going to try and do this. I put these in here a little bit out of order, but let's add a little bit of context to the situation and not just say that it's because corporations are greedy and they don't care about the little man. Okay. Number one, Kroger announces closure of Fred Meyer stores in Everett and Kent, citing theft and regulatory hurdles. So this says 2 Fred Meyer stores, one in Everett, another in Kent, were slated for closure amid rising theft and regulatory challenges, as announced by Kroger, the parent company. According to the Seattle Times, these issues have rendered the locations financially untenable, with a spokesperson declaring, unfortunately, due to a steady rise in theft and challenging regulatory environment that adds significant costs, we can no longer make these stores financially viable. And so
imagine that's
one layer of context. There's a little bit more that we can add. So first off, they're saying that people are robbing us all of the time and we can't afford to pay for it. And they also mentioned we've tried to up security and it's not working. We're still losing so much product in these stores. And these are the ones where we're getting robbed the most and losing money. But then there's another thing. Do you remember that Kroger and Albertsons were trying to merge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is interesting because Pramila Jayapal was super, super against the merger of Kroger and Albertsons. So I brought in some of her posts here. She said, I'm leading an amicus brief to support the FTC's efforts to stop the Kroger-Albertsons merger. This puts 100-plus grocery stores across Washington at risk and could have bad consequences for both workers and consumers. We must do what's right for Washington families. That's Washington State, by the way. Let's see. She's very excited in this video because a federal judge, along with a Washington State judge, helped to block the Kroger-Albertsons merger. And I'll play...
This is insane that this happens in America. We just talked about Spirit
a
couple days ago, and then, oh, man. See, this is where I'm just like, I get to the point where I'm just like, shut it all down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close your business. Move all your business out of these states and let them suffer the consequences.
Well, right now, this is them suffering the consequences. I'll tell you how here in a second.
Good.
So that you're going to feel happy about this.
Ooh.
So
hey, everyone. I just wanted to pass on some really important news that today a federal judge in Oregon ruled against the merger of the Albertsons Kroger grocery stores. Now, you know I've been fighting on this one. I've been against this merger from the beginning because we have already lost a third of our grocery stores just in the last 25 years. And a lot of it is because these companies keep merging and keep shutting down grocery stores. So communities across the country have food deserts. They don't have places where they can go to get their groceries. And equally important, we're losing jobs and opportunities for workers to get better wages, and prices rise for consumers when these mergers happen.
All right, so she's super against the merger, and she makes a bunch of terrible economic points about what would happen if they were to find ways to become more efficient. She also says, let's see, many posts here from Pramila Jayapal talking about how terrible this merger must be. And then you find out also in the press release from Kroger, the imminent shutdown of these stores is part of a broader cost-cutting initiative following the collapse of Fred Meyer's parent company Kroger is closing 2 locations in Kent and Everett, citing concerns over theft and regulations. They joined that. The store shutdowns are part of a national effort to cut costs following Kroger's failed merger with rival Albertsons. And let's see how this is connected. Right here, Kroger officially cited factors like low sales performance, rising theft, regulatory issues. However, people have mentioned, by the way, they lost like $1 billion in the merger fallout, and they said that they are going to have to find ways to cut costs. And one of the ways they're cutting costs is by closing stores that are losing money. And those happen to be a couple stores that are losing money. And so
now, how did they lose about $1 billion in this failed acquisition? Oh, well, just so you know, when these massive acquisitions take place, there's a lot of meetings that take place. Mm-hmm. There's lawyers involved. There are transactions that are made. There are letters of intent and promises made if the deal falls through. And it costs money.
There could also be I don't know if there'd be a breakup fee or whatever in there when you're trying to do a merger and you prevent. Yeah. Now, I don't know if the government stops it, if that could trigger a breakup fee or whatever it is they call that. But anyhow, they cited in their quarterly earnings that it cost them about $1 billion to try to do the merger and not be able to do the merger. And of course, grocery stores are companies that run on like 1% to 2% profit margins. And so they're cutting out the stores that are not making any money. And now the person who was, by the way, she had like 50 posts on her X that I scrolled through going against this merger. Also, another, by the way, is that the union that represents these workers, which unions shouldn't exist. I have to mention that because I hate unions. They also were protesting this potential merger because they might lose their jobs. And now they're also upset that these stores got closed because they're cutting costs because they lost $1 billion not having the merger go through.
Well, you know, as the old saying goes, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah. There's something so stupid
That's
about
good. Shut these things down, you know?
Good.
Come to Tennessee.
By the way, I don't know how this is going to work for other people in the area, but apparently the union says that they have a contract stipulating that Kroger must offer workers placement in equivalent positions at nearby stores. If they close these Fred Meyer stores, they can't just get rid of those people. They have to offer them positions at other stores in the area, meaning that all the workers at those stores, their hours all have to go down, and they'll make less money because these workers can't just go find a job somewhere else.
And I hope the nearest store is 100 miles away.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the family. I mean, it's not necessarily their fault. You know, they're trying to work hard for their family, and it sucks that all these people in power are deciding their fate when in the free market they would have just fine jobs. Working for Kroger and Albertsons.
This is a play stupid games, win stupid prizes moment for the union, for the people that, that good. I'm glad. I hope they close more of them.
I got to tell you something. This is dumb.
It is dumb. Yeah. How about number 3? Let's see. Nina Turner. Anytime you got an opportunity to make fun of Nina Turner, that'd be good. Now, I put part of her statement because I want to show you some context before we show you what she says later. But she says yesterday, Gavin Newsom's comms director, at iGarden, made an extremely ignorant, anti-black comment in response to a post of mine regarding redistricting. As someone who has taught black history, so she's an authority on this matter. Mm-hmm. She has credentials on this, okay. I want to educate folks on not only why this comment is offensive, but how it encapsulates liberals in this moment. Did Kamala Harris write the last part of that sentence? I don't know what's going on. Okay, so she's talking about redistricting in California. Now, California is trying to gerrymander their districts in response to Texas deciding to gerrymander their districts and try and get more Republicans. California is going to try and get more Democrats. Nina Turner, in a principled manner, is against Texas doing it and is also against California doing it in response to Texas doing it. So points to her for staying principled on that. Okay.
Yeah, how about that?
But let's get back to making fun of her. So she says this is not okay. California retaliating is not okay. Whichever state responds to California is not okay. This is an acceleration of the erosion of democracy, and someone in DNC needs to have the backbone to call it out. So anyhow, Gavin Newsom's comms director responds and says, yeah, good thinking. Let's just sit back and sing Kumbaya while our country fades into a dictatorship. Smart.
It sounds like Trump wrote that.
Did you catch the anti-blackness of that comment? Did you catch? What would you
Kumbaya.
say? Yeah.
That's an African song and dance. Well, I know it.
I did not know that. Does everyone listening know that already? I can't. You guys can't talk to me right now.
It has its origins there. Yeah. I mean, think about the word.
Why do you know that?
Kumbaya.
What? Okay.
Kumbaya. Say it like your taxi cab driver, Nate.
No, I just thought it was some Jewish thing.
No.
You know, I don't know.
No, kumbaya.
I don't know what it is.
Kumbaya.
Okay, so anyhow, she says...
you learned this in basically watching The Lion King.
I learned this...
You don't have kids.
I learned this from Nina Turner. So remember, she says that Garda made an extremely ignorant anti-black comment in response to a post of mine.
I feel like that's...
Was that anti-black?
I feel like you're bringing in some African heritage
Let's
there.
sit back and sing Kumbaya.
That's not anti-black.
So she lets you know.
It's similar to like Hakuna Matata, you know, what you learned from Lion King. It's our problem, Free. Hakuna Matata.
Kumbaya. I'm not sure you made the case any better there, Charlie. I'm not. But whatever.
It's a wonderful phrase. That's all.
It is.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Kumbaya in the Gullah dialect of coastal South Carolina and Georgia translates to "come by here," a heartfelt plea to God to come to the aid of those in need. During the Civil Rights Movement, those marching from Selma to Montgomery for voting rights for Black Americans sang Kumbaya while marching. This is the type of historical context that continues to be erased right now, with a race to the bottom voter disenfranchisement fight. So I just want to point out that she has a rule, which is never let a good opportunity to be a victim go to waste. Yeah. Okay.
Basically, because they sang this song during the Civil Rights Movement, now Black people own it.
Yeah.
And if you were to use it, even in its context,
even in the way that people use it all the time,
yeah, then obviously you've overtaken, as a white person, you have overtaken a Black-owned, saying and word.
It's inherently anti-Black too. Yeah. Like this statement is against Black people. Just in the way that he said that. Yep. Okay, great job. Yes, and I did ask Grok where Kumbaya came from. So Charlie was correct. The song, just so if any of you were in the same boat that I was in, the song Kumbaya is an African-American spiritual that originated in the southeastern United States, most likely among enslaved and formerly enslaved Black communities in the early 20th century or earlier. Its lyrics are a simple, repetitive plea for the divine intervention. So anyhow, that's...
The important thing here is it's a Creole language.
Yes.
So if the other reason I know this is because I grew up as a kid in Louisiana, which is surrounded by Creole.
So you inherently knew what the words meant.
Oh, yeah. My family uses it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we sing it every Easter.
Number four, Joy Reid. Number 4.
Oh, following up Nina Turner with Joy Reid.
There's no reason that we followed the anti-Black comment with honestly just blatant racism in my opinion from Joy Reid. But let's listen. She says, she's talking about white people. Let's listen to her. Yeah, no one could sit here and talk about any other group of people at all in the way that she talks about white people. Nope. It's not possible.
I think we'd be arrested, probably.
All right.
They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave hell. But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. They can get rid of all the slavery stuff. They got PragerU. They can lie about the history to the children. They can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. We Black folk gave y'all country music, hip hop, R&B, jazz, rock and roll. They couldn't even invent that, but they have to call a white man the king. Because they couldn't make rock and roll. So they have to stamp the king on a man whose main song was stolen from an overweight Black woman.
Why does it matter she was overweight? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
I don't understand the context of what her weight was.
I'm offended by that.
Now, to be honest with you, I didn't know that Elvis stole Hound Dog from an overweight black woman. I knew he stole it from a black woman. I didn't know she was fat.
Yeah.
So
what about, hang on just a second, Joy Reid, if you'll pardon me, if you'll excuse me, what about Whitney Houston's most popular song that was written by, I don't know, Dolly Parton?
What's her most popular song?
I Will Always Love You.
Oh, was that
Whitney? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, was that Whitney
That's
Houston?
your
that
lie,
did
you
that?
tell it.
Or
yeah, you might have just stepped in it right there, son.
no, it's definitely a black woman singing
I'm
that
saying
song.
Dolly Parton probably stole it too.
No, Dolly Parton wrote it for sure.
Okay, that's whatever. It's your lie. You
It is
tell
Whitney
it.
Houston. I was right.
Okay.
You made me question myself here. But
I don't want to spew fake news.
look up who wrote "I Will Always Love You."
It could say Whitney Houston.
It's Dolly Parton.
Well, how about that?
And so
Who wrote it? Who wrote it for Dolly Parton?
No, Dolly wrote it. Legit.
Okay.
Yeah, it became like her biggest song.
Now it was definitely a song.
But I find it interesting, and see, this isn't a matter. I bet if you look into it, Elvis didn't steal the song. It's probably you have songwriters.
Yeah.
And you have artists.
You also have people that cover songs.
Yeah.
You know.
And make them more famous.
Yeah.
Than they were previously. It's so interesting.
Like Charlie, who sings a song that goes like this? Rolling.
CCR.
Roll. Oh, see now a lot of people would not say CCR right there. So
Well,
anyhow,
I know my music.
yeah,
So.
they might say Nina Turner. They might mean Tina Turner when they say that. But sorry, we're going back to the other one.
Let's do a whole podcast on music.
Yeah,
and
it's
its
just about
origins.
that. Like, no, that's a CCR song.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
It's not a Tina Turner song. Just so you guys know, but it might have been her most popular song.
Rolling.
Now I don't know who wrote it for CCR, but anyhow. So
Yeah, I actually like the Tina Turner version better too. But
I love CCR. I can listen to CCR all day.
no, I know, especially when you're in a helicopter. But
Yes. Yeah.
it's the perfect place to listen.
No, like
to
when we
CCR.
worked at that Cajun restaurant, I made the playlist and it was
Yeah.
just a bunch of CCR.
Yeah.
Because he speaks like he's down on the bayou, literally writing
Yeah.
this song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, we're doing a great job going quickly through these, Charlie.
This is fun.
Let me
though.
tell you what.
It's fun. I think people are learning a lot, not just
So-
about liberty,
That's true.
but about music, and that's what you get. You guys didn't know Nate and I played music for years
Yeah.
until it almost caused our deaths, and then we decided to retire from music.
So
And now we sit in our chairs. We still have microphones.
Yeah.
We just sit in our chairs now and we talk.
we're not even on our two legs. So listen, she does this whole video talking about how white people, and when she says they, it's like, who are you talking about they? She's talking about white people in general. Imagine doing that video about anyone else, okay? But second off, she's not, I mean, to sit there and say like they can't invent anything, they can only steal stuff from black people. That's all. So I just had to look and see what was a few things that white people had invented, all right? And I left off one of them because one of the things on the list was Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. And there's controversy behind that because word on the street is it was actually one of his employees that invented that thing. That employee happened to be black.
Was black.
Yeah. So I left that one off of there. Okay. But we got a couple other that I hadn't researched, so I left them on here. The printing press. That's a pretty big one. Okay. It's a pretty big one right there. It's invented by a European by the name of Johannes Gutenberg. The steam engine. It's James Watt, apparently. You know, that's what they say. He's a Scot. All right. The piano. Seems like that was pretty important for music. You know, I don't know about that. The spinning Jenny. I left this one on here because I didn't know that was an actual term for something. I thought that is just what country people called it because we used to use this thing that my dad called a spinning Jenny.
Well, it was developed in the South.
And I thought it was like a joke term for it. But no, it's called the spinning Jenny.
That's a Southern name if I've ever heard of one. You know, hey, what are you going to call this thing, man? I don't know. Spinning Jenny. Reminds me of my ex-wife.
Just big, wide, just
big,
spinning.
wide, just spinning, just always spinning.
All right. That's my Jenny, always spinning. There she is. The smallpox vaccine, that's a pretty big one. The cotton gin, of course, a white guy invented that one, of course. And that was actually pretty detrimental to the slavery thing, you know, but, you know, whatever. The flight,
The airplane.
human flight. Yeah, that's those Wright brothers. The World Wide Web, Al Gore. I'm surprised it doesn't say Al Gore on here. But apparently, this guy named Tim Berners-Lee developed the protocols for sharing information online. So there's just a few for you right there that us whites have done in the past. Now, what's stupid about this is I didn't do any of that stuff, and so I can't take any pride in any of that because that was some other people, and I don't care what their damn skin color was.
Also, yeah, exactly. That's the point. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares who invented what? No, I haven't seen anyone out there like stealing things from black people and just being like, oh, I own this now. Like, this is another form of slavery. No one's out there doing that. Like, man, if you got good ideas, like develop them and produce them in the market.
What about Eminem?
Yeah.
He stole
hip hop.
Yeah. Okay.
From the NWO.
This one's really fast. We can make fun of it super fast and then get on to the next thing, which we can also make fun of super fast. This person posted out a video of a woman going through her grocery haul.
Oh, no.
People have been doing these things about all the stuff they can buy with Snap and EBT and all that stuff too. I say keep doing that. That's going to radicalize people against those programs better than anything. You know,
I sent you a bunch of videos of the person on Medicaid.
You probably shared them on TikTok or something.
I did. Yeah.
And I just started using TikTok again like yesterday.
They'll be relevant for any dumb bleep. So bring them in next week.
So anyhow, this lady is holding up these brownies and she's going through all this stuff and it's a bunch of really terrible food in the video. We don't have to watch the video. And this person, Katie Miller, who has a podcast apparently, says this is how the U.S. spent over $5 trillion on healthcare last year. Healthcare is the largest category of federal spending, outpacing both Social Security and defense. I'd have to look into that, but I'm not sure that's true, but it could be. I don't remember really. So anyhow, she just says people should be healthier in America. That's what she says.
Which is a crime.
Well, no, the problem is, Charlie, do you know who else wanted people to be healthier and in shape?
RFK.
And on top of that, do you know who else wanted people to be healthy and in shape?
Jesus.
Close.
Oh, Nazis.
Hitler, yes.
Yeah, Hitler. Okay. Yeah.
It's a joke when I said close, by the way. It was just a perfect opportunity to make a joke, okay? So this person says, I know this is becoming redundant, but she literally says the words. But do you know who else was super focused on forcing people to be healthy?
Is this real?
Hitler grew these kids. Hitler grew these kids to feed them into the war machine he was building while talking about world peace. Most of the boys in this pic died. Hitler. She literally said the words, do you know who else was super concerned with people's health? Hitler.
Yeah.
So therefore, we should be careful, Charlie, as a nation when pushing the overall health of human beings.
Yeah, I can tell by her profile picture that she's probably not in shape. So
barely caught all of her face.
Yeah. And it's a fake picture too.
It's fake.
That's all. Most people that are not, let's say, traditionally skinny will find other things for their profile pictures. That's how you know right away. They're not going to put their actual face on their profile picture. And look, obviously Hitler was getting men in military shape. Obviously that.
He's also trying to make sure that we have the perfect race of people.
Yeah.
At the same time, got to get it in shape, and then you got to go to war.
But correlation is not causation. Just because, I mean, I'm pretty sure Hitler ate food.
I think he might have had a dog.
Yeah.
You know who else wore clothing?
Hitler
wore clothing, Charlie.
Yeah. You know who else had a mustache? Nate. Hitler also had dark hair. He's got a lot of that.
Ironically, more pushed towards blonde hair and blue eyes than from a person who had dark hair. That's some self-hatred if I ever saw it.
Are you like German Asian? Asian German?
No, man. I don't got blonde hair. I got dark hair.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, Hitler had dark hair.
That's number 5. Here's number 6. This is the ADL. It's a true story. The ADL has added America First to its glossary of extremism and hate. America First, Charlie. Charlie,
that makes sense.
What country do you care about first?
Israel, of course.
Good, you passed the test. Because you know who didn't care about Israel first?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're number one.
Yeah, okay.
I'm watching The Chosen right now, and Jerusalem obviously is the most important place on earth. Even though Jesus said to go to all the nations.
Yeah.
Somehow we got to protect.
Well, if
Israel.
you promote them, now this is awkward because I feel like Trump and a lot of people in his administration say America first quite a bit. They don't seem to mean it a whole lot, but
really act it out.
About that, in some cases they do. In some cases they do. Okay, many such cases they have. I can't think of any right now currently, but there are some. I know we talked about them probably back in February. Back when we were pumped.
When the rhetoric was awesome.
We were pumped about the words that were being said. But anyhow, the ADL, this is actually a screenshot from their website. I went and looked at it just to be sure. On their glossary of extremism and hate. America First is a term that references the World War II era America First Committee and is used by extremists in anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic ways.
Yeah. Anybody who's calling, who has back-to-back world war champs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the America First crowd. They're extreme.
Can't say that kind of thing.
I do have a koozie that I use every 4th of July. It says back-to-back world war champs.
America First, in conservative circles, often refers to an ideology that was promoted by Donald Trump when he ran for office and served in office, which emphasizes American nationalism, non-interventionism, and anti-immigrant and anti-globalism beliefs. So you got to be careful. Now, I think what they're trying to say is some people can say America First, but other people, when, say, you take a bunch of billions of dollars and give it to another country, actually one specific country, and you say, hey, I thought we were doing America First. Well, that's the extremism and hate side. So that's your like Marjorie Taylor Greenes, Thomas Massey's, people like that. And so you got to be careful.
Daryl Cooper.
Of those people. Well, he's got his own glossary in here, Let's see, I'm going to skip over these two guys, even though it was ridiculous. Let's get to number 7. So that was number 6. We just, I guess that'll be the ADL. Here's number 7. Have you seen what's going on in D.C., Charlie? Well, I mean, they got tanks rolling. That parade was actually just preparation. They were making sure the roads could handle that many military, But anyhow, as we said in yesterday's show, which you should go listen to probably, I don't much care about what's going on in D.C., to tell you the truth. I hate the place. I wouldn't, if the innocent people that are there should go and live somewhere that's not so freaking demonic and disgusting, is what I would say, So I don't really care much about that. What I do care about is the White House posting out this kind of graphic right here. It's a picture of a man, I believe, or a boy, a younger man, and he was arrested. What was he arrested for? For carrying a pistol without a license.
What a crime.
And so as they're going through cracking down on crime in D.C., now I get it. That might in fact be illegal in the District of Columbia, which is insanely ironic for that to be illegal in Washington, D.C.
Complete violation of the Second Amendment. Right there.
The name of the town starts with the word Washington, and I think it's named after someone. And there was a war, and then there was a Bill of Rights and a Constitution and stuff like that happened. And there's an amendment in there, and it's after the first one. And talks. So anyhow, a lot of Republicans will come out and make this argument that the Second Amendment is absolute. That you ought to be able to carry a gun. You ought to have constitutional carry, Charlie. But then we got the White House boasting about this.
Especially in a federal governed area.
Like they should not be able to make any laws that are repugnant to the Constitution at all. Like that's ground zero for not making those kind of laws.
But instead, I bet the conservatives are celebrating this.
So when you go through, and I didn't bring them in, you go through the comments on this, it's all like, this is what I voted for. And if yes, get these people off the streets and all that. And I'm like, what TF are you guys doing right now? Look,
this could very well be a bad guy. Like it could be a criminal. We don't know. But
well, he is a criminal, Charlie. He was carrying a gun, and the government had not given him permission to do so.
I meant like he could be a real criminal.
Yeah. Oh, someone who would actually hurt people or take on their stuff.
Yes, but let's arrest him for real crimes, not for carrying protection. Like,
and so anyhow, they post out this thing. It says, arrested, operation making DC safe and beautiful, carrying a pistol without a license. By the way, since rolling tanks in, no, really, since federally taking over the police, they've done 719 arrests, and they have seized 91 illegal guns from the people. Not like guns that were currently being used in a crime, removing someone's liberty or whatever, but the guns themselves were illegals. They said they shipped them back. They deported them.
It's their manufacturer, yeah. I see Beretta's opening up a new factory in Murfreesboro, so I guess they're going to get shipments.
So this guy named Thomas Massey posts out, the police and troops in D.C. should quit arresting people for carrying a firearm without a permit. They're publishing this metric as if it's something to be proud of, but it's not. In high crime areas like D.C., people rely on their right to keep and bear arms to keep them safe. I do. Now, Thomas Massey tends to be really good on things, and in this case, he was really good on things still.
It seems that he carries in D.C.
Now, I'll tell you what's the problem here. I'm not going to make this assumption about everyone who was happy about this. Some people would look at this picture, which you'd have to see if you're watching the video, and they would say, well, that's not a guy who was carrying a gun because he wanted to protect himself from people doing crime. You could make that assumption. You could look at statistics. You could look at whatever
you
want
to be racist.
Yeah. Actually, if you, what I would, you could be racist, or if you just want to be a collectivist or whatever it is, or if you wanted to be an individualist, you could say, they didn't say that this guy had perpetrated the crime, that he had hurt anyone, that he had taken anyone from anything, that he was attacking someone with the gun, he was using the gun, he was arrested because he had a gun, and therefore, looking at people as individuals, I don't think it should be illegal for people to have guns, and that's not something you should be boasting about. That's what Thomas Massey is saying.
This is like the equivalent of like the UK posting a picture of somebody being arrested for carrying a knife without a permit. Like, this guy had a box cutter. I know he works for UPS or FedEx, but he didn't have a permit for that box cutter. So we're cleaning up the streets here in the UK.
Well, here's a problem. Mostly peaceful memes post out this picture, and they responded to us just now in real time. Okay. And they said, libertarians will look you dead in the eyes and tell you these are law-abiding citizens who should be able to own guns. It's a complicated situation here because I don't listen. Okay. The picture that was chosen for this meme is not fair. Okay. But you could maybe make the assumption that these are not the most law-abiding citizens, or they love to ski and they go to the gun range.
Yeah. We don't know.
But we're not, the problem is we're not doing pre-crime here, and we're not arresting people based on what pictures they've taken or whether or not they have a gun, in my opinion, unless you're all of a sudden, as a conservative, like, having a gun without permission from the government, you should be put in prison for that.
As far as I can tell from this picture, but unlike many conservatives I've seen post pictures with guns, at least they have proper trigger safety.
They do. Yeah, you see that right there?
Yeah, I mean,
that's good stuff.
They're not on the, at least.
Plus,
this is contrary to some conservatives I've seen do their ops with guns.
Yeah, even people in the administration.
Yeah, that have their finger on the trigger.
I don't see anyone that's got their gun pointed at another person in the picture either.
They look to be a little more well-trained than some other folks I've seen. Now, is that because they're part of a gang and there's like a training process? I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea if these guys are law-abiding citizens or not.
Plus, the guy in the front, he thinks everyone in the back is getting a little bit loud. He's trying to quiet them down. Okay. Yeah. This guy right here, he's on our team because he had to wear a mask, but he pulled it down because he knows it's pointless. Okay, so that's good right there. See this guy. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
The question is, can you...
Maybe they're tired of government tyranny and they formed a little group and it's a little,
It's a militia.
Maybe it's a militia.
Maybe they are the Prouder Boys.
The answer is you don't know. And you can't just arrest people for posting a picture.
Yeah. Well, he went and found like the most gangsterous looking picture that you could find.
Is it also potentially likely that these are all criminals who shouldn't own guns because they lost their right because they committed crimes? Possibly. And libertarians would be in favor of that.
We're not in Minority Report yet, and I can't make that decision unless this person has been found guilty of committing a crime
Beyond
against
a reasonable
someone.
doubt.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Call me a stupid, ridiculous libertarian, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? We should look at people, and if they're wearing a certain kind of clothing, and by the way, every picture we see that happens to be a black person, then therefore, I think the government is well within their rights to arrest people for holding guns, for having a gun without the permission. But you know what? I also think people should have a right to carry guns, but that guy does in fact look dangerous, judging on his skin color and the clothing that he's wearing. And so as a libertarian, I'm totally fine with the federal government arresting these people.
Only certain people are allowed to carry guns.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist.
So anyhow, that's number 7.
Number 8.
Here's number 8. Brian Krasenstein. Go ahead, Charlie. Jeez.
Yeah.
Read anything?
We talked about this the other day, but he posted a picture of Trump and Putin and said they should have had snipers in Anchorage, Alaska, ready to take him out as soon as he shrugged. Correction, we should poison him instead, make it less obvious. He's watched some movies, I think, like The Interview.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How they got Kim Jong-un. What a great movie.
You guys got to watch the video.
Yeah,
you don't know why we're laughing at our own jokes if you're not watching the video.
Yeah.
Is it so he wants to poison them or kill him. I think he deleted this post, I'm pretty sure, because he was going to get in trouble maybe by X violating their terms of service, potentially like calling for the assassination of a world leader.
By the way, the world leader of a country who has the largest nuclear arsenal on Earth currently.
And then a lot of people are like, yeah, I should take out Putin. He's terrible. This is a really dumb part. It's why we've gotten ourselves in so many regime change wars. It's because people never think about what happens after that, who comes into power after that. And so that, in my opinion, is the dumbest part of this, is that you're committing the same sin of all the people who have done any kind of regime changes in America's past, is you never think about who takes over afterwards. What happens day one afterwards, after that happens. And the next guy might be terrible. The next guy might think Putin is going too soft on Ukraine. It might think that Putin should have been rolling tanks down through Europe already, or thinks that he should have went ahead and hit the button on all those nukes. You got no clue. But what we know right now is that Putin has not attacked America, homeland, and has not fired off any of those nukes. So we do know that. Mm-hmm. That's number 8. Oh, I did have one other little thing. I'll take 30 seconds to make fun of the New York Times here. They published this thing last night. The article is titled "Flying Blind: Trump Strips Government of Expertise at a High-Stakes Moment." They say President Trump has few sources of independent advice just as he's trying to broker an end to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Perhaps the trickiest negotiation of his presidency. So the point of this article, I'm not going to read it to you, is that Trump is now in this super difficult situation, this high-stakes situation of trying to end the Russia-Ukraine war. And unfortunately for us, Trump has fired all of the experts that worked in the government.
Yeah.
And so that is
people who have done an amazing job with our foreign policy over the last 40 years.
Yeah, the people who didn't end the Russia-Ukraine war since it started in February of 2022.
The people who kept us in war in Afghanistan for 20 years. The people who probably shilled for Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the overthrow of governments in the Baltics and the Central America wars that we know nothing about. The ongoing wars that we currently have in Somalia and Libya. Those people, unfortunately,
the
Boltons of the world.
Unfortunately, they are no longer in the administration, in the government anymore. And so how are we going to end this war?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
He doesn't even know how to talk to Putin.
No, doesn't understand. He fired all the translators. Okay, next thing. See, now we just said nice things about Trump after saying mean things about what the government's doing, and now we're going to go back to saying mean things. So I know for some people this is really difficult to hear, people just being principled in each situation every single freaking time, but whatever. Here's number 9. Trump is going to sign an executive order to punish those who burn American flags. So anyhow, President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive order on Thursday. Which I looked, I don't think he signed it, or I didn't see any announcement. Could be fake news. It was reported by everyone. Is expected to sign an executive order on Thursday that would direct the Justice Department to try to bring charges against people who burn the American flag, a White House official told CNN. The order is not expected to outright criminalize the act of burning the American flag, the official said, but rather directs AG Pam Bondi to review cases where the flag has been set on fire, determine whether charges can be brought under existing laws.
Basically, what other crimes were committed.
Like vandalism, nuisance, public nuisance, stuff like that, to go after people who burnt the flag, but not specifically for burning the flag. And if this happens, I swear to God and baby Jesus that we will burn a flag on this show once a week. Okay?
Until the FBI,
I will make that investment.
Until the FBI knocks on the door.
Going to. Because this is freaking ridiculous.
Yep.
We got one more thing here to read. Gunther Eagleman.
And you're right, yes. The 1989, the Supreme Court ruled already that burning the American flag is protected under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So
they probably, they might, if this gets challenged, they could rule against this too, because they'll be de facto going after people who are burning the flag. So we'll see. Gunther Eagleman, in response to this, says, F yes. President Trump will sign an executive order tomorrow to crack down on burning the American flag, blah, blah, blah. Protect Old Glory. Salute American flag. Mm-hmm. How about that?
No, I don't recommend burning the American flag. And
it's a waste of money.
Yeah, you're wasting money.
Resources.
But that's certainly not a crime.
No, and it shouldn't be. These are the people, and the people who support this, who destroy all hope I have for the future of America and humanity, are these people. Mm-hmm. It's not even Trump doing the things he's doing, it's the people who support it.
Yeah. And I agree with the Fed Haters Club here that it is disrespectful. I mean, I don't see it as a respectful thing to do. And that's based on what you put into the flag.
Yeah.
You know, like if the flag represents to you like support for the troops and victory and freedom and those different types of things that you're attaching to the symbol, I get that it's disrespectful because, well, we grew up our whole lives respecting the symbol of freedom. And to some people, when you burn a flag or pee on it or whatever, then you're peeing on the graves of the troops who fought and died to protect our freedoms. I get that.
Yeah, but
it's
fought
just,
and died.
By the way, the flag was made in China.
Yeah, okay? It's made out of nylon.
They put the threads together.
They made it in China. It cost like 30 cents. You can buy it at Walmart for $8 or $9, something like that. Yeah. And here's the problem, Charlie. The obsession with symbols like this, I don't get it. I don't buy into it at all. The troops fought and died to protect our freedoms, not the flag. And if the freedoms disappear, then f*** the flag. Yeah. I don't care about it. Yeah. All right? It's a piece of nylon made in China.
And as Drew says here, if you aren't free to disrespect the symbol of freedom, are you truly free?
No is the answer.
Yeah. It's a good question, though.
Anyhow, we'll move on to number 10. This will be really quick because honestly, I put it in here because 3 people in the Fed Haters Club submitted this. And Andrew Yang got dragged for this post. And honestly, I didn't think it was dumb, but I put it in there because 3 people submitted it.
I've had this idea for years.
Yeah, we've talked about it several times. Yeah. He said we should be making it easier to vote, like voting on your phone, not harder. So I understand why people thought it was so dumb. The problem is we have issues with election integrity, election security, and I think what people think is just be an app. You get on and you're gonna click your vote, and isn't that easily going to be compromised, hacked, and you're not going to know who's voting, illegal, not illegal, whatever. Totally understand that. Also, I think we have too many people voting. To tell you the truth, I don't know.
I also think that there's technology that can handle those situations.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe you could only vote if
anything can be hacked, like mail-in ballots. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but taking a wild guess.
It could possibly be. Yeah.
Dead people voting. I mean, the government is wrought with people taking advantage of loopholes.
And this is in response to Trump saying that he was going to find a way to get rid of mail-in ballots. He's got to try and get the states to do that because the states are
Look,
in
you
control
could
of that,
utilize
but-
blockchain and end-to-end encryption and user keys. There's a way to definitely figure out who is voting and who is not. It's not that difficult.
I want voting on your phone, but because I want it to be blockchain, easily auditable.
And then you'll literally have real-time results.
One person, one vote, easily. You got your keys, all that kind of stuff. Trust me, it's tough, and and so I think that would be a good thing for America in the future, for people to trust the outcomes of elections. Because if we keep doing this thing where we don't trust the outcome of elections, like, this thing will unravel. And I know that it's fun to talk about, but it's not going to be fun to live through when that actually happens. And so I do think that blockchain voting would be great. Now, he's not pushing blockchain voting, just so you know. That's not what he's going for. I was a little disappointed by that, because he is pushing this mobile voting thing. Security features, end-to-end encryption, end-to-end verifiable, transparent and auditable, multi-factor and biometric authentication, and air gapping and paper counting. That's in the security features of a specific thing that he is pushing, which is mobile voting.
And he might be invested in.
He could be invested in a specific product. Could be the case right there. Just so you know. Okay, number 11, Cracker Barrel.
Oh, God, this travesty.
We're going to there's a two-pronged approach to this Dumb Bleep. Okay. Number one, this logo is god-awful.
I know what's happening.
Good God.
But,
it's so bad. The new logo is just...
And I wonder how much money they spent on it. A lot.
It's probably a lot.
They spent a lot of money on that.
Just to pay someone to have ChatGPT make a new logo
Travesty.
for them.
My God.
It's gross. And look, they removed the old yellow guy.
And the barrel.
And the barrel.
And the chair.
Well, now the new logo is in the shape of a barrel, kind of. And so they sort of still have the barrel on there. They did remove the white guy. And it just lacks any... I don't get a feeling when I see it. I don't know what this restaurant is when I see this, you know? It doesn't give me a nostalgic feeling whatsoever.
Cracker Barrel is a very specific brand.
Yes.
Like a very specific clientele, you know? And this is a huge mistake. I think likely what's happening is there's probably some private equity investment. Their goal is to obviously strip away everything they possibly can and buy more of it cheaper before they ramp it up and sell it. That's the whole goal of these types of things.
I think there's a few things. They're also revamping the inside of the stores. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes. There's one in Smyrna. It's awful.
Oh, you've been there?
Oh, yeah. It's awful.
Yeah?
The only thing I like, I will tell you, there is one thing I like. You can go two directions. You know how usually like you go into the store and you can only go to one corner of the room to get into the restaurant side. Well, now both sides are open. So you have the registers in the store and you can go this way or this way.
So the whole thing,
I like that.
It's getting when they do that, they're trying to maximize foot traffic through the store portion of the old country store. So you buy stuff while you're in there is what's happening.
Oh yeah.
And so by giving you two options right there, they're also just creating more of a flow of traffic, probably through the store would be my assumption. That's wonderful. In the videos I saw. There's more room in the aisles or between the stuff, probably because America keeps getting bigger. You know, I think is what's
apparently
happening.
They're writing songs like overweight songwriters.
And so they're trying to modernize. They also took the old country store thing off the bottom of the logo. But that's like the cool thing about Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
You know, also they got good French toast. They got good country fried chicken and steak, you know, stuff like that.
Biscuits.
It's supposed to feel like one person says, it's supposed to feel like going to your grandma or grandpa's house.
Literally.
That's
the whole brand.
Like, that is the thing about Cracker Barrel. So they're moving away from that. Now
I lived through this when I worked at O'Charlie's back in the day.
Oh, you went through that?
Yeah, you had a private equity, a pie company buy O'Charlie's, and they revamped this entire thing.
In this case, they got a new CEO at Cracker Barrel, or they got a CEO in 2023. Yeah. That's who they're blaming.
Yeah. So, it failed miserably. Failed miserably, but that wasn't the point. The the point was for the private equity company to kind of diversify its portfolio. And I just lost. Did everybody lose us? Okay, back.
Just
That's weird.
Did we drop?
Discord flashed for me. I don't know about anybody else.
No, mine's still good.
So no, I think that's the whole purpose of it, and it's a complete travesty, and I'm sad about it. Cracker Barrel is one of my favorite places to go when I feel like having like some down home country cooking. Yeah, man. Now they do need a little more salt. I do add some salt and pepper.
They probably are going to have some of the same food, I bet, though. So you'll be fine. Now I do have to tell you, Charlie, I'm sorry about this. I don't care about this logo at all. I don't go to Cracker Barrel. Haven't been there in a long time, and therefore whatever they're doing currently doesn't work for me already. And so why would I be upset that they're changing something that wasn't good enough to get me to go there beforehand? I used to go there a lot when I was younger, but I just want to say, if you're someone who has not been to a Cracker Barrel in, say, 5 years, I think you should not talk about the new logo, because what they were doing was not good enough to get you to go there. And that is the situation that the company is actually in. Their stock, I know people have been talking about how much their stock is down over the last couple days since the new logo thing. Their stock is down 71% since their all-time high, which was back in 2018 or 2019. They never recovered from the COVID pandemic. They just kept going down after that. And so even though, they were down quite a bit in the last day or so, they were already down 60-something% before that, because no one goes there anymore, except for old people. And there's something about old people, and it sucks.
I go there. I go there.
I'm not okay. People go there. Sorry, that was like an absolute statement.
Maybe I'm old,
because people do. We are getting old.
We're getting older.
That could be part of the problem. I don't know. I think people kind of freaked out about this when they should be freaking out about the Epstein files, but whatever. The other thing, if I wanted to defend this, Charlie, that sign is going to be clearly visible from the interstate. Okay? I'll tell you what. You know that Calvert City exit? Is the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
One's got the big gas station, the Arby's in it and all that?
Of course I did.
Did you notice a Cracker Barrel on that exit?
No.
Thank you. I've been stopping at that exit for I don't know how many years now, 20, 30. If we go back to, back when we used to go to Calvert City and stuff, there's been a freaking Cracker Barrel off that exit the whole time.
Did you know that there were 2 Cracker Barrels in Franklin?
No.
Yeah, there are. One off 96 and one off Mallory.
I'm telling you, I just noticed this last year. I was getting off of there and I happened to, I was just driving through. I was looking for a car wash. What I was looking for, and my car was disgusting. And I was like, holy crap, there's a Cracker Barrel right there. The sign is, you can look at it. There's a sign up there next to the interstate, but it's got this ugly white and brown sign with that super busy logo on it and everything. I never once saw the thing. Never saw it. Had no clue it was there.
And now it looks a little closer to a Denny's.
Now you put a bright yellow sign with the brown writing on it, you're going to be able to see it from the road. Just saying.
I understand what you're talking about.
Actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry about that. Now we do have, let's see, we do have a clip here of the Cracker talking about the barrel.
I did like Matt Walsh's take. That I thought was pretty funny.
What did he say?
He did say that I'll just say what he said, which is the fact that basically what's happening is you have a bunch of VPs of marketing who have nothing else to do with their degrees, so we create these jobs for them.
Yeah.
And then they come out with shit like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's ugly. The other one's got character. It's got nostalgia, all that. This one's ugly.
I mentioned Denny's just for you, Clark. It kind of reminds me of the Denny's logo a little bit.
Let's see what the CEO had to say about this.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing.
It has?
I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I don't know. That was a big load of BS. If you ask me, I don't believe it.
I totally bought it.
I, for one, believe her.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah, right.
This is all people talking about the stock. people were pointing out this whole Cracker Barrel LGBTQ plus alliance and tying her to it. By the way, if you were freaking out about this and you're going to stop going to Cracker Barrel, then that's probably why you stopped in 2009, because that's when the Cracker Barrel LGBTQ plus alliance was started. And the CEO didn't start until 2023. So those two things are not tied together whatsoever. Sorry to burst your barrel on that one. And I did want to tell you they are down, about 70% since 2019, 2018. And but I did want to let you know, I did bring this in, Charlie, just for fun.
It's a good buying opportunity.
It's actually looking pretty good right now. No, I mean, it looks terrible. But if I'm not in yet, just so you guys know, and this is not financial advice, but when you look at their chart, which is down 70% since 2018, and you put some support and resistance line on there, and then you put a couple trend lines on there, what you see is that they did pop below this major support level from back in 2020 during the pandemic crash, but then they just popped back above it today after the big flush they had this week. We'll zoom in just a little bit closer on the weekly chart, and you can see kind of breaking out of this downtrend some. I want to make sure they can hold that level right there, right around, say, 55, 56, something like that. And looking at the daily chart, it is a little rough, though, because they did have this big gap down. I can see them flushing back down below to hit this trend line down here, which could end up being the mid-40s. I could end up starting the small position right now with room to add later if it does drop down into the 40s.
And that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
They want the price lower to buy more of it.
There you go. All right.
It's the way it works.
It's kind of almost sounding like a weather report.
Yeah.
Which I remember I had that idea that I was
going
to do.
Yeah.
I had that.
You
Never
did
did
the
it,
stock
though.
weather.
Yeah, I was going to do stock weather report.
I told you it was a great idea.
I know. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't do it.
All right, number 12.
This is going to go really quick. The Trump administration says it's reviewing all 55 million people with U.S. visas for potential deportable violations. Now, whatever.
With AI?
I just don't. Yeah. I'm sorry. I should care about immigration. I don't. I should care about visas. I don't. There's just a bigger list of problems, and all the people at the top of that list are Americans and American domestic policy. And I don't care too much about the visa thing. But here's something really stupid that happened. And I'm going to pressure people on the right to be better at thinking when it comes to these things. Now, Charlie, 55 million people with visas. There are 340 million people in the United States of America. Do you think that there are 55 million people living in the United States that are on visas right now? Because that would be about 15%-ish of America. That would be people here on visas. Yeah.
It's possible.
Now, this article got widely shared, got widely reposted. No one ever read the article. Just so you know, people like Mostly Peaceful Mean says there's 55 million foreigners in the U.S. on visas. There's another 30 million here illegally. Very good chance 1 in 3 people in the United States are not American. What the actual F? I put things in here that had at least 100,000 views to several million. What would happen to housing prices if demand dropped by 33% in response to that? 15% of the U.S. population is non-citizens, and this isn't counting people here illegally. Hypothetical, 1 out of 5 in the USA, foreign-born. 55 million visa holders. People can't get jobs. Housing's expensive. Over and over again, 300,000 views on this one. Here's why your rent's so high, because there's likely 100 million non-citizens in America. Geiger Capital, 1,000 retweets on this.
Look at all these mathematicians
Keep
here.
doing the math on you. It's somewhere between 15 and 33% of the human beings in America right now are not Americans. It just keeps going over and over again. There's so many more good ones that I could show. Even Wall Street Mav right there. How do we get 55 million people with visas in this country? Suicidal empathy. No national sovereignty in a country with 55 million people on visas and another 50 million illegals without them. Our entire system is a joke. There's that post right there. 5.1 million views on a picture of Jake Gyllenhaal with his crazy eyes talking about 55 million.
I like that.
Okay. Charlie, did you know that I live in the United Kingdom?
No.
I got a visa.
You did?
Well, yeah, I had to get one to go over there.
Oh.
Did you know that I live in Peru?
I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got a visa to go over there. Did you know I live in Djibouti, Africa?
We're in Peru right now.
Yeah.
People just didn't know it.
Okay. So instead of thinking that 15 to 20% of the people 1 out of every 5 people you see on a daily basis is some foreigner here on a visa. I would just consider the fact that to come here could be to work, could be to go to school, stuff like that, sure. Or if you want to be a tourist, you could get a visa to the United States as well. All right. And so the actual number is around 3.6 million people that live here on visas, and all the other people are tourists or temporary people, stuff like that. And I just want to point out that these posts got millions upon millions, tens of millions of views all over the place, bunch of big accounts posting about it. And what really bothers me is what I saw over and over again is that this is why housing prices are so high. This is why everything is so expensive. This is why inflation is going up. And you know what'll fix it?
We have 300 million people here that shouldn't be here.
You know what'll fix it? The Trump administration, you know what? They are tackling inflation, Charlie, because they are going to tackle these 55 million visa holders that are living here in the United States. And that is how Trump is taking care of inflation. And what bothers me is that you can convince a bunch of people that that's true, that that's how you're going to fix it, and they won't realize that you got to end the motherfucking Federal Reserve and stop taxing people and stop spending money you don't have.
I ran a little query here. It looks like, according to the Economic Times, migrationpolicy.org, some other sources, there's approximately, as of 2023, approximately 12.8 million green card holders residing in the U.S. These are lawful permanent residents. People on temporary visas, work, study, anything like that. This is according to the Department of Homeland Security. There's about 3.6 million of those. So putting those together, the estimate is roughly 16.4 million non-citizens holding visas who are currently residing in the country. The rest are those probably temporary travelers, including tourist or business visas that may be outside the U.S. at the moment. Like they're visa holders, but they don't actually live here.
We should deport them.
They travel here for business, or they're coming on vacation or something like that. They don't actually live here.
A little bit more accurate numbers there.
Let's just say call it 20 million.
20? Yeah, that's fine.
Residents that live here. And then you have another 20 million illegals. So 40 million people, about 10%.
Yeah.
You could probably say 10% of the population. I would think that that's reasonable.
Oh, that's fine. I really don't think they should be counted as part of the population, but that's another conversation.
Well, I'm just saying.
Because then they get representation.
I'm saying you kind of split. Most people think a third. I would say it's probably closer to, let's say, 5 to 10%.
Something like that.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the cause of rent prices.
Oh, no, it's not.
And housing prices and grocery prices or anything like that. The real problem we've talked about, along with the Federal Reserve, is the government spending money. That's the ultimate problem. It doesn't matter how many immigrants you have. Really, it does, but not at this level.
As long as they're productive.
Yeah, right. It's government money. That's what leads to inflation.
Okay, last one.
The main driver.
This one's for fun. This one's for Costco. He always sends us sports stuff, and I rarely do it. But I did feel a lot of embarrassment in this moment. I don't know why this is the only video going around of it, which is a video that someone took with their phone of something on the TV, but this is the one going around. It says ESPN's Monica McNett.
And then the people watching get to watch a video of a video of a video.
Exactly.
Nice. I love it.
I could put it on this screen, actually, and you could watch. Okay.
A video of a video of a video of a video. Yeah.
ESPN's Monica McNutt.
Surely we wouldn't get a copyright strike for that,
McNutt?
would we?
No, it's just us watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Confused Drewski's Barry Sanders jersey for a Shedeur Sanders jersey. I just felt super awkward, this being ESPN. And, you have this idea that the people
Apparently
are talking.
women in sports are fine.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm not going to generalize for all women. There could, in fact, be women that are as proficient in sports, even more proficient in sports than some men. That could be the case. And sometimes you feel like they're just there to to check a box. I'll just say it that way. I'm not saying that's the case. She might be very, very good at WNBA. I don't know. All right, here's this moment.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Feeling good, man. Excited. Flew here for this. I'm up. I didn't know I was doing this early. I'm up, though. Jeez.
Well, it's a blast for us to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so the jersey. Let's get into it because obviously this ties to one Shedeur Sanders who balled out in his first preseason game. I'm sorry, I apologize. Barry Sanders.
All right. No. Corrected quickly. There's a pretty big difference in those Sanders.
So all right. We normally don't do sports stuff. Okay, I guess you could tie it into politics if for some reason this was some kind of a, DEI situation. But I'm not going to make that assumption purely because it's a black woman saying it. She could be very good at every other sport and just not know who Barry Sanders is on a guy who's wearing the Detroit Lions jersey. Number 20 says Sanders on it. And just in case, if you don't know sports, I just brought in a list for you guys just so you know. 10 years with the Detroit Lions. He retired early. Now, I didn't know how close he was. 1,400 yards short of breaking the all-time rushing record. In 10 seasons, 1,400 yards short. It took Emmitt Smith 13 seasons to break the record. And so after 10 seasons, he was only about a season. It depended on how good he was at that time.
He could have done it in one season.
Technically could.
By the way, there were only 14 games back then?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Emmitt Smith was playing in the 90s too. So,
okay.
Yeah, same. It would matter more comparing Smith and Sanders to Walter Payton, who had the record before, because they probably had even less games.
10,
I would bet.
10 or 12.
So MVP, he got that. Offensive Play of the Year, also. NFL Network, ran by NFL, is most elusive runner in history. So that's pretty good too. If you watch clips of the guy, it's ridiculous. I never watched him play.
Yeah.
But he was nuts. The clips that you see of Barry Sanders. And also Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And
on most people's running backs list, he probably makes in a lot of top fives, easily top 10.
I think it's the most fun to watch.
Yeah.
When I see clips on X of him or whatever, it's great. Yeah. But okay, let's get votes in.
Let's do it.
Unless you got more to say about Bernie Sanders. Politics guy talking sports.
Bernie lies. BernieLies.com. But Barry Sanders, that's the Sanders you can trust. All right.
Okay, number 1, Gavin Newsom on Bed Bath & Beyond. Number 2, Pramila Jayapal. Number 3, Nina Turner. Number 4, Joy Reid. Number 5, Hitler. That's the who else? Hitler. Number 6, ADL with America First. Number 7, gun rights and the arrests in D.C. Number 8, Krasenstein, and plus that little stupid Russia article about Trump from the New York Times. Number 9, the flag burning thing. Number 10, Andrew Yang's vote by phone recommendation. Number 11, the Cracker Barrel rebrand that's happening, which I do hate. I think that it was a little bit overblown. People upset about it. Unless you go there all the time. Okay, that's whatever. Number 12, 55 million. And number 13, Barry Sanders. And what was her name? McNutt? Is that her name?
McDumb.
Monica McDumb.
Yeah.
Out there. Let's
That's
get them
name
votes
this
in.
week at least.
Tell them what they'll win.
Get your votes in. This is interesting. The vote split. I don't know if that means that this was such a good show.
I think it was terrible.
That we had lots of dumbs that were pretty even with each other, or if it means it was an absolute awful show.
Yeah.
Where we didn't have a clear winner. So there's literally...
we got split votes between how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now. Let's get some more votes in, everyone.
Yeah.
Go
get
do
your
it.
votes in. While the Fed Haters Club is voting, you could vote and part of the Fed Haters Club by going to joingml.com. You could also help the show by leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to godhatesfeds.com. Pick up some of that merchandise, some of that Liberty merchandise that puts you on a list. And that's where you want to be. You want to be on a list.
You might get deported for buying this stuff, man.
Make sure you share the show around. Visit the links in the show notes. That supports the sponsors that support this show. It helps. It obviously helped with revamping the studio and things like that. We do have a partnership with, I guess it's called Libsyn Ads now. That kind of runs that whole thing.
They do the ads.
And so the more you all support the sponsors, which are good sponsors, we, in fact, Nate and I utilize our sponsors too.
Yeah.
Because you get good deals.
I used them last night when I went to bed, man.
Yeah. Exactly, my point. So make sure you do that.
I think Hitler's winning right now.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
We're going to call it.
I think
It's
we have
the
to
comparison to Hitler.
We have to call this one for Hitler. He finally won something.
That was really a dumb comparison. All right. Well, if you all enjoyed all of that, then do what I said or don't. I don't really care. But Nate absolutely does. He spends every night thinking about it. So make sure you do those things. And if you do, then we'll be back again on Monday. Hope you have a good day, a good weekend, and a good morning, Liberty.